Welcome back, everybody. We are getting more than ready once again as we are jumping into the big final. I am really nervous myself between what we are just about to see from Wildcard and M80. I really don't know what to expect, but of course I'm not alone right here. As you can see, I'm right here with my good friends and casters, Hexter and JRT. How are you doing, guys, today?
Doing fantastic here. Looking forward to it here. And I'll tell you what, you're not the only one that was nervous. We were, I'm sure, all watching Wildcard in that ECL Cup Grand Final. A bit of a tough end of the story for them there. But there's a chance to bounce back at the very least here. There's a redemption opportunity for Wildcard, and that's what we're looking forward to tonight for sure.
Yeah, at least you got a second grand final after the first one. I mean that was just difficult for them, right? 12-6, and they don't get another round and lose in overtime. Like, oh my god! Like, it could not have gotten worse than that for Wildcard in the ECL Grand Final. They don't get that shot at Pro League, I don't think, anymore, which is really a real shame on their part. But congrats to Voka on the other side. However, look. Now they've got Thunderpick to think about and a chance to play on LAN there. And honestly, I feel like, they can reset themselves. They're not a squad that lacks in mental fortitude.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I was actually thinking about just right now. Like, are they actually going to be able to just perform well after, stumbling upon what happened on the previous game they just went ahead for? So I was just wondering, like, oh, maybe they are going to be carrying a little bit of too much of heavy weight on their shoulders, and this could actually affect them on their gameplay. But of course, I mean, just like you mentioned, I will absolutely believe you, but we still need to see what happens on the game, on the battlefield, because I'm going to be honest with you, I also feel like we are a little bit it's been a little too many games played for them at this moment, and I feel like there's this kind of teams that it's not just about the mental state, but the amount of play of the amount of time you actually spend in front of the computer. It actually really gets you tired, right?
Yeah, it's going to be an endurance test here for Wildcard. I think that's probably a little bit why we saw them lose their focus there in that second map, versus Voka. I think it's really hard when you have to, balance this type of schedule. Kind of an awkward clash of timing and just a unfortunate circumstance. So I will give them a little bit of grace there in that fact, but you're looking at much tougher competition as well, right? M80 are no slouches. This is going to be kind of a market matchup to see who's going to be locking themselves in a big opportunity here, and also who's kind of controlling that space in North America here. I think both these teams are perfectly capable of doing so, and if Wildcard can kind of get that quick opportunity at redemption, it still will feel like a success on the day, at least in my eyes, for them, especially if they're able to topple over a team like M80, who's no easy competition here. This is a team that's so effectively able to control the space in North America.
Well, what do you think about what we could actually have today, JRT? I feel like this is going to be, just like we just heard, I mean, a game that it's not going to be easy. M80 really is coming in strong, but Wildcard is, I mean, they're not an underdog in a certain sense, right? Like, this team absolutely knows how to play.
No. I think this isn't even a matchup. I think both teams are fairly skilled. You have a bit of maybe fire from Wildcard as well in Hext and Rec, right? Because they were formerly part of this M80 squad. Rec before Hext arrived, and Hext left after, and JBA replaced him. So it's really interesting to see like how they'll perform there. I'm sure they want to maybe prove themselves a little bit more. Obviously, after that loss they just suffered, probably not too happy with it. However, have to keep in mind that it was the first BO3 they lost since 6C joined up on the roster. They had a very successful run at Frag 20, looked solid in Challenger until that grand final came through. But either way, it's a squad that I feel is very up to the task here, up against M80.
Yep. And well, here we have it. This is going to be the first look at one of the squads that we're going to have, one of the first rosters in which we are going to have Joshua Barut, JBA, Sin, Elias Stein, Lake, Nathan Sanderson, Swisher, Michael Schmid, and Slacks, given everything they've got on the battlefield today. I really do hope that I see these guys actually shine as much as I have heard they can. And I hope I do really get completely blinded by the light of the masterful playstyle that these guys can actually bring to the table. But of course, I also want to hear, I mean, if there's anyone you want to put the spotlight on specifically on this roster.
Yeah, I'll just kind of highlight Swisher right now, what he's bringing to the table here. This guy, again, has kind of, I would say, floated up and down with this roster, but right now is hitting a real stride rate in 2026 so far, and has been really taking a liking to the addition of JBA. And this is a guy that I thought was going to kind of fall back into more of a role player centric approach to the long-term outlook of his game, and has now been able to get back into the limelight, get back into the kind of star oppositions. I mean, he's just always been a serious multi-killer. That's why I thought he would really thrive in some of those harder to play on anchoring sites and things of that nature here. But the multi-kills have continued to come through, and he's just having a lot more early impact. And I mean, this is where I like Swisher, to be honest with you. I really love that he's been able to provide this uptick in performance, especially when M80 have needed it, trying to get everything situated with the roster here and bringing JBA and involved. He's been a serious piece of the puzzle here, but again, for their Frag 20 experience, they didn't get to test themselves versus Wildcard, took a surprising loss to that new look Marsborn roster. So definitely a kind of get right opportunity here, kind of in preparation for what's to come here, and get themselves an opportunity to compete in more international competition here, because that's going to be a very clear goal for this team.
Well, absolutely, but we still need to see what they are actually going to fight against, and I think that is also very important if you really want to, maybe look a little bit into the future and see who can actually come out on top. I mean, you need to put everything into consideration, including, of course, who is playing on the other team. That is just pretty much how it goes. Hex is going to be right here on this Wildcards roster, as well as Rek, Mr. Ethan Servant, Sixy, Daniel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, so I'm just going to call it Daniel for the moment. And of course, then, Mills, MHL, and Nemanja as well. I really do want to see what Nemanja can do, but I want to ask the same question, but this time to my other fellow caster, JRT. What do you think about this squad instead?
I actually really like the way this squad has come together. It's a little bit of a surprise for me because I had written off Wildcard. I said, look, once that previous roster fell apart, there was no saving them, but they managed to recover in a significant way. Like, to think they went from the doldrums of North America back to the top and are competing to be the best North American team with M80 again is amazing. Like, I think it's fantastic what they've been able to put together. Rek was a great pickup. You have Hex, who was dropped by NRG a little while ago, and they just said, okay, come to Wildcard. And Sixy is the one I want to highlight, though. The newest addition to the roster. Obviously, Marsborn fell apart, and he said, I don't want to be part of a rebuild on the new Marsborn roster. I want to join with a team that can win right now, and that was Wildcard. And replaced Peeping, who never really realized his potential, at least with this roster. I know he's found a new home now, but right here with Wildcard, it didn't really work out for Peeping at any point in time. And I think Sixy's an instant upgrade, and also offers like a multitude of skills, a skill set that he's built up over his career and can help in terms of the mid-rounding as well and support Nemanja.
All right. Well, it's really nice to actually hear that you have this very thoughtful process of what Wildcard will actually bring into the battlefield. But also, I feel like we are talking about a lot of history that these two teams have, not only because of the players that actually made a wild change going into the other team, but also, I mean, the previous confrontations they've had. What do you think about those confrontations also?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, looking at the back and forth here, definitely going in favor last time, at least, of M80. That was still with the, old look Wildcard roster. Since then, they've been able to adjust and I think make some shrewd moves. And I'm with John and definitely talking about how they've constructed this new look team. But I'm interested to see how they're able to route things up here in an opportunity, especially with Hex, to try and get back against his old teams.
All right, well, it's really nice to hear that, but now I think that we are still lacking to hear one of the most important pieces of the puzzle to know how things are gonna go. Let's just go ahead and check out the map vetoes at the moment, because, well, as we know, this time we are going to try and see what strategies these teams will bring to the table. Apparently, we are not gonna have an Ancient here and a Nuke, they are both banned, but the first one's gonna be Joss too.
Yeah, Dust 2 going to be interesting. I would say both teams fairly comfortable on it, and I just think it's a very good playground for these two squads to see which one's going to be able to have the firepower edge. You're probably going to see some very back and forth Counter-Strike because of how well balanced these guys are, rifling and opping, everything considered. And then after that, having Inferno should make it interesting, you know, picked into by M80. This is one map where I feel like there's a significant advantage here, Cole.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the difference here in terms of how these teams are able to situate the vetoes, and I'm right there with you. I think both teams looking to show some strengths on their map selection. We'll see that decider come through as well.
Yeah, speaking of the decider, well, that's going to be Mirage. If it happens to be that we do need it, of course, as we are also jumping into Inferno after Dust 2. But at the moment, let's just go ahead and jump into the action instead, because the game appears to be pretty much ready at the moment. And we want to see these guys hitting it on the battlefield. So this time, guys, I'm going to give you every single part of the spotlight on the microphone. Go ahead and give us the show we are expecting.
All right, let's jump into it here. Thank you, Evan Tim. We'll be back with you in just a little bit after this map. But heading into round number 1, pistol round for Wildcard. Back onto Dust 2, which didn't go well for them against Voka. Lost pretty convincingly. And they're looking to change that here. Immediately afterwards against M80, Hex and 6 is going to get a couple, but there's Swisher. You highlighted him earlier, Cole. He's been quite effective throughout 2026, as you mentioned, and he gets 2 immediately to strike back against Wildcard, and then JBA will drop Nemanja. 3v2 for M80.
Both players low as well on this T side. You got low HP on JBA and Swisher. So there's still more to work through, but they've got him somewhat contained here towards the long side at the moment. We've got that presence coming through on catwalk at range. 2 players holding off the flank, so they are boxed in towards long right now. Ooh, like wanted to go and poke and prod for a little bit of more info. He takes a headshot. Rattles him back a little bit. Forces him to slink into his shell. Just group up with the rest of the resistance right now. There's 1 molly left for that T side to try and toss in, but they go for a run boost. Not perfectly executed. The shots, though, are good enough for MHL here. A couple of headshots rolling off for him. And hey, that'll do the trick. The molly goes down as well, but Wildcard able to escape with a pistol win. And as you can see, we get the full picture right there. Making anything work for MHL, even if the run boost doesn't go his way. The firepower will, and it's going to be a forced buy reaction from M80 here. Chance to try and flip the script for Wildcard. Look at those odds there. He's stacked in Wildcard's favor.
Huh.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that is really surprising.
I think this matchup a little bit more even, if not M80 favored, but maybe they got a little bit of warm up here in that last series, and I don't know. See how things shape up.
I am definitely with you there. I would think it's M80 leaning, and maybe like a 2 to 1.3, something like that. Like it would be more what I was thinking. Maybe even below that. Maybe just both hovering around the 1.8, 1.5 mark. Anyway, well, whatever the case may be, we'll see who ends up taking this. You know, nice pistol round for Wildcard, and Hex takes the head clean off of JBA towards the B site. Molotov's going to sail in. That's a really good round for Wildcard to take. And they're trying to convert now against this force by Sin. Gets his head rocked by the bullets, but he still manages to get one here against MHL. The nade will finish him off, but that is actually crazy contribution from Sin, because he had a very low chance of coming through with that frag. Bomb going to get planted on A. It still feels like Wildcard are going to win this round, and now it definitely feels like it.
Yeah, I think Slack's trying to sneak away there. Hold on to his scout. Swisher will definitely back out here, Lake. Be looking to play more of an exit game, but need stuff here from Wildcard. I think one of the biggest assets that you've added for a map like Dust 2 right now is Hex, and how comfortable he is on this map as an individual, playing over there towards that B side. First kind of noticed it when he was playing with M80 actually, where he just looked so effective there on that B side, locking things down, lurking about there on the T side as well when it comes down to it. And having a player like that that's able to put pressure on just such, limited resources. I mean, look at that kill right there to open up proceedings. Of course, you're going to have to send more resources towards B when Hex is in a position where he can just threaten a little bit of chip damage and find those kills. So it spreads the defense thin with his impact, and that is one of his specialties as an individual here that he is bringing for Wildcard and how he's revamped this team's map pool.
Absolutely. Now, Midi, you're going to have to make it work with a couple of saved MP9s. Everyone else onto the pistols. Wildcard are poised to take a 3-0 lead. Molotov's going to sail towards Cat. Smoke. Right into it. And you see that Aether trying to bottle them up in mid, not looking to give them space. Flashbang's going to get tossed here. Molotov was as well. Swisher's hanging back here with the MP9. And now Sin aggressing with the USP. Link's going to actually get the first on Nemanja. Sixy's in trouble. Yeah, Sin's going to get that. And look at this. MHL. Oh my goodness, MHL. What a recovery from him. Able to get a 2K and keep things under control, but he pays the price in blood. Down to 11 HP. Smoke's going to come for a mid to B. JBA playing up close and personal with a 5-7. But the commitment by Wildcard is not to mid. They are instead going to send 2 players down Cat, and one already has long control. MHL down to 11 HP, though. Even only up against this USP, it could be tough, but Rec clears out 2 on the site here, Cole, and it's only JBA left.
See an example of Rec's mechanics there. Great work on the double down. JBA. Love to be able to hold on to something here. Gets bested by the flank, though. Unable to walk away with any prizes here. There is a clean 3-0 start, despite a little bit of chaos in that last round. MHL able to clean things up and wreck the deal sealer. With that double through the Cat approach here. M80 finally going to get some guns out, though, into the mix. See if that starts to bring them back into the conversation here. Slacks with an op for the first gun round. Long play coming through. Gonna try and send 60 in for an opening duel here, but Sin is so ready on that long side approach with some great counter utility coming through into the mix. They're going to deny that access, and Black's still on a boost. Spots out a little bit of information there. Catches Rec walking his way in. Crosshair can't adjust in time, but they're going to make moves out towards middle, and that smoke is going to block them. Swisher comes through and offers up that resistance just in time.
Yeah, I mean, M80 are just kind of swarming around the map, trying to isolate Wildcard and prevent them from being in any position to try and get space. Slack's going to get Nemanja there, looking towards Cat. Flashbang goes out. Sin continues to stare down in that direction, and Wildcard keep getting pushed back. They've still got a lot of time on the clock, but eventually they're just going to have to commit and make a move. But it feels so disjointed as Swisher takes care of MHL. Hex and Rec the last 2 standing, and Rec is not long for this world. There he goes, a clean round from M80. Only Swisher taking damage, everyone else at 100 HP.
All right, there, it's just what they needed to arrive on the server here. On the board and look very comfortable in the defensive effort. Miss no opportunity as soon as they get those guns out, able to strike the opening gun round. But now here comes MHL's op into the server as well. We saw how good he was playing just a couple days ago, and that was in the less important matchup versus Voka to lock themselves in that grand finals position. Again, with no real stress, this is your last series of the day. No time pressure, no panic. We're going to see Wildcard looking to operate at their full form today in the second best of 3. I suppose what they were able to show us in that last series. So if MHL can come online, try and deal some damage versus Slack on this opening map of Dust 2, what you're going to be after here.
A little bit of a utility being thrown around there, back and forth between the Wildcard players, but eventually Nemanja is going to collect a lot of it. IGL wants to take care of setting up his teammates. 45 seconds left. Wildcard do have mid control. They have some cat control as well. It looks like their final destination is going to be B. Nemanja. Oh man, he's walking into a tough fight. I don't know if he's going to survive this. Lake around the corner. Nemanja spots the shoulder. I think Lake saw him as well. Now they're going to throw the flash, but Nemanja not blinded at all. Plays from the cubby. Gets one. JBA trying to anchor down this B site, but he won't be able to get more than one either. And Wildcard have overtaken the space here. They need to get the plant still. It should be fine. And there we go.
Just punched in here. A lot left for the CG side to say other than to back away at this point. Try and make it out here with the weaponry. Anya with a little bit of that lurking presence, and of course, again, just more impact coming through from Hex on some of those B plays that I was highlighting earlier. Team able to make it look fairly comfortable on the end goal of that B side. I'm going to tick away here. Wildcard are going to get right back on track here. Quick gun round back in return. 4-1. Some good guns being saved here to keep them rolling. Really got to make sure that they are able to handle the pressure here. If Hex continues to thrive, it's going to make the calling very simple for this T side of Wildcard, and it's going to be letting him do his thing consistently. Trying to work some angles towards the long. Don't want to overcommit. Be a little bit more cautious here.
Yeah. Well, Swisher and Sin have long under control. I'd imagine one of them are going to fall back soon. And there you go. Swisher the one to say, there you go, Sin. You got this. I will go back towards A and make sure they don't get that for free. Molotov tossed in. Flashbang as well. And M80 for now have some control. Uh-oh, this is not good. Swisher could get overloaded here. The reinforcements may not arrive in time. No, they won't. Swisher gonna get deleted, and the offer from CT that Slacks can't get in on the action. Nemanja eventually gonna plant this bomb, and ooh, Hex is in a position to take some of these guns out of M80's hands. I'm not even sure they're gonna go for it, but Hex hears all the footsteps. Oh, what a flick from Slacks to prevent Hex from doing damage, and it'll likely be a more comfortable save for 3 players, but not for Sin. He's in trouble.
Hot water right now, trying to back away. Timing, ooh, good favor him. Instead, Wreck able to clear him out. Make sure that he doesn't walk away with his weaponry. Another round here where Wildcard forces M80 to save with 3 rifles, overwhelming Swisher before he's ready for the attack. An excellent conversion here coming through there. Extra death to the bomb. The way out, but no big concern.
Yeah, the odds. Hey, that's a little better. Still, obviously with this start, Wildcard now the favorites, but this is more what we expected. JBA waiting towards that B site, anchoring it down. Lake behind double doors. Oh, he's got a chance to strike. There it is. First down. Heck, a 60 gets knocked down to 60 HP by that nade, and a very heavy rotation from M80 into the B site. Mid's kind of open, but they throw the smoke and say, okay, let's go check out what's happening again. But in the meantime, Wildcard have grouped up, and they're going to go for an A hit, almost certainly. Especially with the positioning for Rec. They're going to try sending him out towards long, maybe flashing in for Cat, and hoping that they can support each other in this take of A. But now, Slacks is on the scene, and he's very good from Car.
In a position of strength here, but first shot goes awry. Long lurk coming through as Rec tries to crab walk his way past the corner. Speaking of crab walk here, Hex is slowly inching his way in towards the site. Clears Goose. into the site proper. Swisher sees a shadow and is able to pounce here. Has to sacrifice his offer, but that's no big concern as M80 again able to surge forward. With another round win here, that's very convincing.
Yeah.
Issue is they're spreading those out in between the wildcard rounds that are looking good as well. To find a consistent track record for themselves.
Honestly, like the 2 rounds, like you said, that M80 have gotten have been ridiculously good. You know, M80 are a very active squad. They're always trying to adapt to their opponents on the fly, and you see that, the reaction that happens as they deny them towards B. They have 3 players there. They send them into the A site afterwards, realizing that Wildcard are no longer heading that direction, and it's looking good. However, Hex just gets 1 kill, and that's the anchor gone. There isn't much left behind it. AK is... couple of AKs up. HP, I was going to say, is low for Hex at 14 and 60 at 7. I think M80 might be saving again. Like, they're not interested in retaking B at all.
I mean, you can't blame them here. They're man down, and while there's a ton of damage set in stone, there's a big risk here to try and run through on this retake effort. They're not going to give it a trial run. I'm already done, and here's the problem here. As convincing as many have looked on their 2-round wins, still going to find some massive challenges. Some of those reactions, and there's just another bit of that Hex impact here. It's going to be something Wildcard look to lean on consistently, is just allowing for, you know, Hex to make moves like that. And if you can just consistently crack things open on B, simplifies your solution in a big way.
Absolutely. I mean, look, Wildcard haven't really had to deal with a retake, as M80 have allowed them to be comfortable after every plant. So, you know, the more interested in saving their guns, eventually you're going to have to send it. I mean, that was a 4v5, but I understand it. Positioning wasn't necessarily great. It's kind of the nature of the way they play. Dusty, Hex will catch one here. And he does. There goes Swisher. Smoke going to get tossed as well. That's really nicely done from Wildcard because they attract all the attention towards mid. They don't commit to it. Lake's going to peek around. Oh, damage done. But not a frag just yet for M80, despite Hex and Sixy being very low, and MHL just tanks a nade. He goes down to 45 HP. So, oh my goodness,
okay.
Look at the health bars continuing to drop here, but they still have all 5 players. Slacks, where is he? He's on A. He has a nade. That could be a monstrous nade if he times it right.
I mean, everything here saying gonna get his utility down. Has a lot of low HP bars. He's still taking in the molly though. Takes for a while. Slack's just gonna thread in his op. That'll also do some damage, but there goes that HG. It's gonna take care of one. But in the meantime here, more utility using on the T side to do some damage as well. They completely nullify Sin's position with the 2 mollies, and the op still in play. Makes a shot there from MHL. Can't be afforded. Gets the second opportunity here. And he's going to seal up another frag. 3 in the round here in total. And that's going to lead Wildcard to victory. Despite all the low HP bars, they managed to make do and close out a 7th round. It's at the helm of MHL, who's bringing these rounds on Dust 2 as well.
I was going to say, that was a tough situation for MHL, right? Missing the first shot. A lot of the times you see just the Opera get wiped out after that, but he recovers, flicks for the first, and then gets the second as well, with low HP to boot for both players, as you already highlighted, Cole. Very nicely done from Wildcard. M80, because they've been saving so much, obviously their economy is looking good, so they're able to buy up again without any issues at all. 4 A1Ss and the AWP. Bit of an aggressive hold towards long, but Wildcard have been very slow about their approach and not trying to rush into anything. They're playing it intelligently, allowing M80 to be the ones to aggress here. And Sin, he's thinking about pushing these long doors, but if he does, he'll be dead to rights. I mean, he might be even more tempted with Lake finding that frag onto Nemanja. 5v4 for M80. I think M80 have won every single round they've gotten the opening kill. And now Sin's going to get that second one. Slacks the third. It's crazy. Isn't it like the way M80 is winning rounds, assuming they win this one, how convincing it's been, and they only have 3 if they get it again.
Just having no troubles here working through a couple of these rounds here. Would love to have that consistency come into the factor, but every chance they get, or as you said, they're able to get those opening picks and shut things down early. Definitely feeling like a done deal, and another example of it right here. Just strolling past the CT side, but then you look up and you only see 3. So saved rifles coming through for MHL and X as well, but see what they're able to do in the next breath here. Every time they've been hit by a punch by M80, they're able to bounce back and show that much more strength.
Let's see if they can do it again here. Keep this half close, otherwise Wildcard could get a significant lead heading into their CT side. Nemanja just goes for a little bit of spam through the smoke. Doesn't commit off of it towards long. You'd think Wildcard would want to try and gain some long space in the early parts of the round, but they're content to just keep M80's attention at the very least. But right now they're just defaulting, waiting around towards top mid, and you still have Hex, as you already highlighted before, enjoys that lurk towards the B site, can be very effective, but as of right now hasn't really been able to see much. Only one player over on B, that is JBA, usual anchor. Nade's gonna fly in towards the smoke. Blake throws another one and a little bit of spam. So far is all quiet, aside from the Utah.
Long boost here going to be scary stuff. See if they can deal it.
What?
MHL able to find the opening pick there. Sets his crosshair up high. Able to catch enough of a visual on the Sin that he gets nothing. Comes up empty-handed. And that advantage of an angle here. But now Slack's going to answer back. It's battle. Who can best the opposition in these opening duels here? MHL able to provide the first. There's a really awkward long smoke right now tossed in. They're going to have to toss a couple more on top of a flash as well to keep them at bay. Blake wanting to run through the smoke, being peppered by his teammates. Does have a possibility here to make some moves. He's going to try and lurk through here. MHL just enough visual. He picks up an 8K now and is still firing up, but the rest of the retake arriving, and it's just going to leave Hex on a late lurk. Wow. Slacks reads it like a book. And this time, MHL's opening pick going to go in vain. He finds 2 frags on the round here, but it's not going to be enough. An M80, the first time able to sequence 2 in a row.
That round falls apart without Slacks. The first frag important, but the second one was critical, because with all those smokes up and the way Wildcard reformulated their defense and the frag that came through before it, I believe through the smoke, Slacks not getting that would mean the rest of his team is extremely exposed and in trouble. But because he does, clears out a lot of space and allows his riflers to kind of swing on through those smokes, especially Lake, who's just waiting and hiding, biding his time for his chance to strike, and it works out well. M80, they got the opener, and they've won every single round where they've had an opening frag, and this one looks like it might not be any exception to that rule. 60, Nemanja, and Rek, the last 3 standing. And they only have 1 rifle amongst them. Lake waiting, watching the edge of the smoke. Nemanja, what are you going to do? You're just going to wait here in the cubby? Looks like that will be the plan here. Plenty of time left for Wildcard to activate, but firepower advantage is significant in M80's direction.
Here, looking to make a move towards the B side. 60 with some access, but not long lasting. Lake still in the back lines, firing it up. And 60 with another frag here. Molly takes down like a little bit lower. But he holds the line, ends it with double digits in the half there, and 3 in a row to cap things off for M80. Had a tough time finding those rounds in a row, but 3 towards the tail end. The CT side, Dust2 now have to hop into this T side and show even more strength. We'll see if they have what it takes.
I mean, like I was mentioning earlier, both teams are pretty good on Dust2. It's just that Wildcard have been absolutely decimating their opposition. In 6 of the last 7, it was no double digits found for anyone. From Voka, Passion UA as well. They 13-2 Passion UA, which was crazy. And the only time they lost was in the series before this one, in Challenger League, right? Voka defeated them 13-8, which was surprising. But right here, they've got that 7-5 lead, and they're hoping that they can nurse it, improve it, and come out with another Dust2 victory. But M80 also got a 13-3 against Monty and a 13-1 against It's a Secret over at Frag 20 here on this map. And not to mention, that recovery was nice. Very disciplined on M80. I mean, it's expected. A team that's been competing well internationally and don't want to give up too much firepower or economy. Anyway, Hex and Nemanja going to get a couple here, but Sin strikes back. Oh my goodness. So many trades coming through. And as it stands, the 3v2 for Wildcard, but the B site, it's lost.
He had a pistol would be massive, but they're not going to let them plant at this rate. Retko's stretching out for even more damage, and MHL to find the last. Tapping away there. Able to close out those kills and get on track quickly. That's exactly what they needed here. Get another one on the board. Wildcard winning both pistols here. BT side take over accordingly. No bomb plant either, so this is going to be an eco called out. M80.
And probably a quick round. They're just sending it towards mid. Nemanja tosses the nade out. And now they go towards Cat instead, readjusting their approach. MHL and Retro waiting here. Should be a pretty easy round for Wildcard, and indeed it is. They're just feasting upon the anti-ego frags, and Wildcard are up to 9.
If you remember, when Nemanja was playing just a couple days ago, he was constantly taking those opening duels.
Yeah.
He was playing out towards middle with just maximum confidence, and it for a very interesting showcase. See if he's able to play with that same level of confidence. That is not fun to deal with there. This time, trying to take an aggressive approach, just gets leveled out by the spam.
Firing squad. Like every single M80 player just riddling him with bullets through that door and around it. And that's a quick 5v4 for M80. MHL slips through the smoke himself and then gets slacks and slips away. Is he going to go double dip? He does, and that costs him. Swisher going to get the trade now in a 4v3 in favor of M80, who continue to wait for the aggression to come through. And Wildcard, well, they're going to deliver as they are pushing up into upper B and down Cat. Oh.
Awkward exchange there. JBA going to track down his competition, and Hex just flies through the smoke, but by then his teammates have vanished. I think if you're M80 and you're seeing how Voka just won that map of Dust2 here, you're seeing the tendencies of a player like Nemanja. You have a lot of time to prep for this matchup, given that you kind of knew it was coming with the awkward forfeits to start things off. In the semis, it just means you're going to look to punish these tendencies here, and Nemanja has been having a bit of a tougher go of things, but that right there is a very early indicator that M80 have done their prep work.
Absolutely. This was a bonus round, though, for Wildcard. They're going to have another buy up in the next, especially with Hex saving over that AK. It'll help make the buy up more potent. I believe an op. Yep, it will be purchased up. MHL going to get that in his hands, and utility's not bad either. This is pretty much a full buy here from Wildcard with a couple of pieces of utility missing. Odds tightening up even more. Wildcard looking for that 10th. And I feel like Nemanya's not going to back off of the way he likes to play here at mid. He's going to continue to hover around and get aggressive. That previous round may have deterred him slightly, but honestly, I doubt it. He's still hanging around here, hovering in this vicinity with MHL supporting him. Flashbang going to get tossed. And Nemanya's just waiting for this smoke to fade away. Might rattle off a few bullets into it. Oh, did he spot the leg? I think he might have. I think he's aware of the positioning here for M80, and he actually doesn't want to take the fight.
Shot at least here. NHL trying to re-up on the angle and lands a reaction shot onto Lake in time to buy him lease on life. Wildcard looking to stretch out for double digits and an opening pick to get them there here out the hands of the Opera. Nemanja catches Swisher before he lurks through that smoke. If he made it in towards CT, we'd be talking a much different story. Mid information provided there with a little poke through. Oh, and there's a flank from 60. Activates through long. Bomb dropped in the middle of mid. And it's instantly just recovery mode for this T side. 2v5 JBA and Sin either choose to walk into the upper or the crossfire of middle, and neither one of those options is ideal. So I think they'll try and hold on to their weaponry right now with no forward progress being made up catwalk.
I think it really shows how far 60 has come in his career. To see that type of discipline from him, right? Going in on the flank, getting one and falling back. I think in his earlier days, he might have tried to fight more and get those frags on the board. But this time he says, nope, not going to do anything more. Don't need to. That is enough. And all 5 players for Wildcard survive. 2 do save here for M80, but that is a huge 10th round that Wildcard are going to get. Another 3 rounds away from sealing this up. At least the first match.
This is a team with great focus here, great discipline. Missing pieces, we know they had a little bit of a choke too long ago, but you need to set the right foot here, open up proceedings, but job not finished just yet. And Swisher shows that much. Double entry out towards long, 60. Nemanja both sidelined.
B is empty.
Don't want to come through here, and as you said, B is empty, and it is no secret now to the B side either.
Yeah. This is really good manipulation of the map by M80, finding that early damage towards long, and then realizing that Wildcard, being this handicap, would just rotate over and get aggressive on their support. Wreck is gone. Hex can do some damage, though. There's one. That's the bomb. Uh-oh. M80 might be in trouble now. Does he get the second one? If Swisher goes down, then Hex is going to have a huge advantage. He does get Lake and then a little bit of damage onto Swisher, but it's MHL in a 1v2. 45 seconds left. M80 may still commit to this, and looks like they are. MHL thought they might rotate around, but it doesn't happen. Flashbang out, and Sin takes MHL's head clean off. Nicely done from M80 with just those 2 saved AKs.
Big sigh of relief right there. Hex almost did enough. One good flashbang forces MHL a little bit further back, and at that point they close it off. No more on offer. I'll have to make do with lesser weaponry. Nemanja on a rifle at the very least, and on the right side. Ooh, gets across in towards potential element of surprise, but he's still being watched, and JBA makes sure that there is no surprises. Then a couple of clean headshots. keep this round nice and tidy. No rifles to scoop up either to try and give some access to Nemanja in the next round. If you're able to pick something up, that would be a real silver lining. Last thing you can afford here if your wild card is handing back over any sort of lead in the late stages. Otherwise, that memory going to be right back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll be thinking back on that previous series up against Voka where they let that 12-6 lead on Overpass slip right through their fingertips. M80 will win this round. Wildcard will have their guns back. What they do with them is another question. MHL with the AWP was the most important piece, obviously, since he's only one of 2 players above a KDR of 1, and I mean, frag-wise, 17 is leading the entire server. He's a big reason why Wildcard have those 10 on the board. Let's see if anyone can activate around him. Slack's looking for a fight here with the AWP from Dark. JBA gets the opener, but he's traded out. That is a very heads-up play from Sixy to make sure that Rex death is not in vain. And now they can isolate towards long A. But immediately off of that, M80 take up all the space in the mid. Hex gets the
miss, my
but
God.
He can't get the kill. Oh my God, indeed. Lake shouldn't have had that frag. But instead he gets it in MHL late Slacks. Yes way, it's happening. M80 with 2 players on life support have taken B and taken the round as well.
That's brutal. I mean, that's just where the shots don't fall. Because you had the right positioning. You had the right idea. I mean, that, in theory, should have been a non-starter of a round. That one should be done. I mean, Hex wins his fight 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little sliver of an angle there to work off of for the op, and it ends up being a wallbang instead. And that's just brutal stuff right there. The round gonna fly by you, and you're gonna feel like you did a lot right in that round positionally, but the shots just don't connect to get through. Now what do you do? Pick up the pieces here.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, once again, limitations on what you can bring to the table.
It's not the worst case. You know, you got the AK and the M4 carried through. Let's not forget M80 won a round like this a couple of rounds ago. Let's see where they position those rifles. Nemanja, if Nemanja pushes here, I think Sin might get him. Sin pulls out the util, though. There's the nade, lands right at Nemanja's feet. Full damage against an armored opponent with that nade. And now, Wildcard are wondering, okay, what's going on here? Are they going to take long? Or are they going to go back in towards this B site, which they've been abusing quite a bit here on their T side?
It feels like nothing's going your way when you walk into long doors and instantly get HE down, but
Yeah.
see if they can take the right path. One of your rifles down to half HP. 2 of your pistols in charge of holding off. There's going to inevitably be a catwalk take. Utility going in the attention here. Ramp's not much of an option, but Nemanja's still fighting tooth and nail. Coverage on this A-bomb site. Flash is going down range. Hex still the element of surprise. He is going to get checked, though. Lake with his due diligence. The jump up, though, not covering the plans. 15 seconds left. Still plenty of time. They need the trades here. Another rifle on the scene, but Sixy gets decimated. MHL with the element of surprise. Can he slink back in towards CT? No. Gets clipped. Just at the tail end for a tied scoreline, and M80 survive a scare. But they will be able to level the playing field here. We're all even.
That's crazy contribution, though, from MHL with the P2K. 3 kills, I believe it was. And despite Wildcard losing the round, they do some damage, at least, to the economy of MA, despite, Slack still and Lake still having 8.5 and 6.1k. That can quickly disappear if you string a couple of rounds together. MHL gonna kick things off on the right foot. Upshot connects. Lake is gone. Looking for a follow-up now. M80 pumping the brakes a little bit. Seeing if Wildcard are going to make a mistake here. Maybe push up ill-advisedly. There's just going to be a flashbang thrown out, an M80. Continue to bide their time. 6 getting towards long, though, beyond this smoke. Swisher could be his victim. If Swisher doesn't clear this angle, Slack's with him. Swish, where are you going to look? You focusing forward and right or to your left? It's forward and right, and Swisher's gone. 60 swings around, gets tagged by the op, but not fragged. And now he's supported by MHL, and MHL's gone. Uh-oh. This could quickly turn around. Might be a 3v3 here, unless Rek can help save 60's bacon. And he doesn't save him, but he does get the trade. Sin falls as well.
Wow.
Rek doing the work here. Slacks, last one available. He will manage to take care of Rek. 45 seconds left. Nemanja and CT, and Hex is trying to get in position on a flank.
I mean, right now their pathway for a bomb plant is clear, and with a lot of utility left, this clutch is definitely in the cards. Nemanja not going to inch forward here, and it's all going to be a game of timing for Hex to make his move. As that timer continues to tick down, you know you've got to plant the bomb at some point here, so that's going to create some opportunities as Slack smokes the site. He's waiting for Hex to jump, but he turns away just in time. So Slack's not able to make the play he was hoping for. Clears out the catwalk. Smoke still in bloom, and the bomb will go down. Slack, so this clutch gets so much more difficult. The fact that it's a 2v2 and hiding inside that smoke, he misses a shot onto Hex. Clutch going to be denied. And Hex will be able to deliver. Make good on the promise that Rek provides from that hard position. And will continue to hold on to this lead.
I mean, look, 60 did a good job there, getting the first and staying alive long enough to allow Rek to do that. But, I mean, Rek is the reason why they're in this position. I mean, helping deliver against his former squad. 11th round found. Sure, it's expensive, but it doesn't matter. You're so close to that finish line now, and there's so few rounds left that you're going to take it no matter what the cost is. Nemanja tossing Nate out there. Maybe just going to go fast. I mean, they've been really slow in their approach round after round. This could be the change-up pitch, and Wildcard do have 2 players here. Nemanja supporting Hex, who's usually the anchor, alone here. Hex gonna get 1, Hex the second, and Nemanja actually getting 2. There's Hex second, 2 for each of them. Sin the last one standing. It didn't work at all.
The difficulty here against such a reliable anchor piece is Hex. Multi-kill, and Nemanja backing him up. Trying to get more involved when it comes to closing out this map. And that just might be the push here they need. Hex going for the last. To complete the full house, he'll find a headshot to seal up a flawless victory. AK is picked up here for Wildcard, as well as a map point on their map selection. They let M80 get back into the conversation here, but where they leave them off at is with the Slacks AWP and the rest of the team not too healthy on the money. A single AK available, Khalil, and a couple of pistols here working together for M80. Boosted up op. Okay, and Slacks able to collect off the boost right there. MHL, I don't think he was anticipating enough money for the opper, so he gets stunned. Missed long smoke from the CT side as well. It goes way too deep. So the opposition going to crawl through off of one great flashbang. Opening continues from Slacks, and now you know there's a player stuck inside the pit. Only good for one is 60. Wildcard watching this round slip out of their grasp here, and Hex trying to save it. But a swing in towards long could lead straight into the op presence, and Slacks goes for another. His op lethal when they're playing with their back against the wall. What very well could be another overtime here for Wildcard to have to deal with.
It was a 10-6 lead. And of course, they had map point first. They don't want to see another overtime. They don't want a repeat of what happened only an hour ago. M80 putting the pressure on. Nemanja is holding the line towards mid, or passively with the A1S. MHL at long rattles off a shot, just trying to time it when he's flashed, but M80 oftentimes just poking and prodding with utility and not necessarily committing to that long play, and this round will be more of the same. Rek tossing the incendiary out. Lake and Sin probably want to have a peek here towards Cat, I'd imagine. Rek doesn't want much more to do with it. Backs off with the MP9, and MHL will take his place instead with the op. Leaning over, does he get the spot on Lake around the edge of this smoke? He will not. Backs off instead.
Blink away here, doesn't get that angle like he did those rounds prior. Understands those gaps so effectively here. MHL so comfortable on this map, but I go and refocus his efforts for long, just a short period of time here before he backs up in towards short. Gonna have to trust that Sixy can contain this long control. He pushes through the doors and doesn't spot any information. Recycled smoke on catwalk. Bomb still positioned with the possibility of a mid to B play, but MHL the one to strike first here, and it is going to be a mid to B play here in the end. Nemanja up close and personal with that A1S, trying to find the multi here, can't do it. Now Hex alone on B, has to do it all. He topples over. And the bomb going to be able to coast here for access and towards B, but it's cut off. MHL through the smoke denies Slack's passage. I'm going to go down though nonetheless.
Dude. 2v2. Wildcard. Last chance to end this in regulation. Molotov sails in for window. Do they have util? They have one piece. It is a decoy. I mean, you could fake flash, I guess.
That's about it.
Yeah. JBA.
Okay, JBA able to contain a little bit, but Swisher now has to clothesline him, and with the clutch, he provides it. M80 gonna rip it into OT and take 12s, and Wildcard, fearing that the nightmare might continue into this series, had Dust 2 in the palm of their hand. A 4v5 in the deciding round, a couple of opportunities to close it, but it goes OT instead.
This is when things start to feel not good. If you're Wildcard, when you see similar patterns arising from the previous series. .145 on the clock as they head into overtime. They haven't had an overtime round victory today. They played 4 rounds and lost every single one of them, and now Sin's just going to walk out and take care of Sixy, who did do damage before that. But it is going to be smoke thrown in towards upper tunnels, and JBA losing the fight to Hex. Okay. Hex taking the initiative here, as he is apt to do. He does like playing a more aggressive anchor. Now he backs off and awaits the arrival of more M80 players.
Impressive duel to win right there. As you said, no OT victories here. Still 4v5, and that smoke is so rough on the timing here. Hex realizes a little late that they are making moves. Smoke out down towards doors, and Sin gonna make Nemanja pay the price here. Molly goes down towards the window as well. There's no rush on the bomb plant. They're just getting that utility down range here before, and boost as a last-ditch effort to try and give them some access in this post plant, but they're watching another smoke bloom towards the doors. And Lake is not overextending anything of that nature. Nothing out of the wall bangs. Hex gonna back away.
I mean,
they're just not a pathway into this round. They're sticking around though. Maybe you can try for a late play as the bomb ticks down. Maybe you can catch him trying to run towards tunnels, but that's about your only hope here. And they're not budging, holding the position. MHL, 5 seconds left on that bomb, and Swisher baits out the shot before he swings. Find all the frags instead. And M80 gonna take a lead here in OT.
I mean, look, this map felt like a win condition in my mind for Wildcard to take the series because of the more significant advantage that M80 holds on Inferno. Inferno hasn't been a kind playground for Wildcard. They've won 2 of their last 3, which is good, but if you look at the results over the last 3 months, it's been less so. In the 4 or 5 record. Slack's going to get the opener here on Nemanja. Let's get back to the action, Dusty. We can talk about the next map later. Rek, along with 6, playing towards long, but it feels like Wildcard has lost all the wind in their sails.
The team that, obviously with the consistency in their wins when 60 has joined the roster, that means, the whole conversation of choking was just simply not in the picture, but you've already won yourself a grand final, right? That takes a lot of pressure off your shoulders. But again, this is on the day. Opportunity that you could have closed out a grand final versus a team that you breezed past just a couple days ago and then couldn't get the win. In 2 maps, you get shut down and you had that overpass map in the palm of your hands. Now another overtime present and still no OT rounds going in your favor. Gamble stack. This is not looking good either for Wildcard right now positionally. Not getting aggressive here, instead hoping that the play goes mid to B. And there's mid to B utility that might further confirm that notion. Dixie gonna deal with a long lurk.
Not bad.
But if they commit towards this A play, it's still gonna be fine. Unfortunately, the kill from JBA doesn't call the troops back over. So I think all should still be well for a bomb plan at the very least.
Yeah, definitely.
JBA's in CT.
This is a done deal in this round. I don't even know if they're going to go for it. They won't. The AK is important. I understand saving that. Maybe even the op. So this is one of those rare situations where an overtime save does make sense. As bomb going to tick away. And Mady absolutely nothing to lose. They're going to keep hunting, as they should. And even down to the bomb, it doesn't matter. And Slack says, you know what? I'm going to do exactly that.
Terrorists win.
Oh,
right.
man.
Sure. Sometimes you think players are just playing for KD. This Slax is doing the opposite. He doesn't care.
Down to the bomb.
Yeah, he's all about whatever gets the round wins right now, and that's what M80 have here. 2 back-to-back. Had a very slow start to this map in terms of finding rounds in a row, but to pull through that comeback in the second half after losing both pistols. Now in a position of strength here in OT. They could give themselves 3 chances at map point here if they get this last one underway. Saved rifles, there's no economic concerns for Wildcard, so that's a silver lining, but they need something here to get sparked back into this.
Yeah, I don't know what it needs to be, honestly, because I thought that Hex did a good job in the first OVT round of getting aggressive, and I thought that would be the spark, but it wasn't at all. So, yeah, M80. Well, that's a nice nade at the very least from Nemanja.
Oh,
A second one, fantastic work. Gets a couple handed to him, and he deals the blow against Lake. What a way to get an opener here in this round. 5v4 in favor of Wildcard. Smoke gonna get tossed there. Flashbang in immediately afterwards from M80. But M80 are not a team to panic. Tons of experience here, and they just regroup a little bit towards mid and plan out their approach. 41 seconds left.
Whatever tools, whatever gimmicks you have at your disposal, you might as well use them now here. But 60 trying to once again get aggressive on that long approach here. Flashbang perfect on the MHL. He's showing too much shoulder, and he's dealt with by the op. Advantage now to the T side of M80, as they've got perfect positioning here. Make it even better. Sim's just going to catch Nemanja with a knife out. He tries to jump around, dodge bullets, but Sin will not let that slide. Hex, last man standing, somehow, some way, spotted now. Confirmation here for the rest of M80 to set their focus and JBA to close it down. M80 show up fierce in OT and now have 3 opportunities to close this map out. Wildcard happening once again, fresh in their minds.
Jeez. 7 straight overtime rounds have been lost by Wildcard. They don't have a single round victory in OT today. We'll see if that changes in this round. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah. I'm not painting a pretty picture.
It's just the reality of the situation, and well, might be able to break the dry spell here, as they got all the control in the world. Couple entries on towards B, the cutoff successful as well, and that's going to instantly lead to a save. You're also, you're not just talking about the overtime rounds. It's also the map point rounds that they've lost here. That's 6 lost on that last series, and of course 2 lost in this one right now. But this is a breath of fresh air. Finally able to buck the trend. So the 2 Germans left here to try and hold on to their weaponry. Slacks finding some nice exits here now. Won't die to the bomb in this occasion. And they're going to keep on hunting. CT side. Claiming some clean frags there. And are going to be able to hold on to both rifles. But 2 more chances for M80. This Wildcard, is that going to be the catalyst to wipe that clean from their memory?
We'll have to see. They need to win out here in this overtime just to get to double OT and have another crack at their map pick. Slacks getting aggressive. Oh my goodness. By a hair. Wildcards stay alive and don't lose a body. But 60's going to have to take some damage here from the nade to hold this spot. Down to 51 HP. Oh, Hex being engaged with as well. Down to 33. Sin going to get some on his end as well in terms of damage. So even trade there, but still overall Wildcard are the ones that are feeling the pain.
More flak here. So go into some control. They want to start taking here towards the middle. Crisscross smokes are out. We're met by some counter utility from Lake. Smoke spam going to be dodged by Nemanja. And this lurk could be that much more deadly. Flashbang tries to slow down Nemanja a little bit as he walks around the edges of these smokes, trying to fully sell the play is mid to B while the rest of his teammates work their way up catwalk. Sin avoiding utility for now, but not for long. Avoids the op-shot though and is still trying to fight for his life. Wreck provides another entry here, dropping in on Slacks' Hex. And they've got so much ground contained right now. Another victory for Wildcard now, 2 in a row. The big victories here offered up out of this T side when they needed it, when they were running out of gas.
Yeah, not sure what you're saving for if you're M80 here. Might as well throw it all at the site, but well, now it's too late. Perhaps hoping to get an AK ripped out of the hands of Wildcard. And well, there is one. JBA, you're going to grab it? No, he's not. He's just running away. So no AK saved over. M80 head into the final round of overtime here in the first OT. They had 3 opportunities to close out the map, and now it's down to only 1 remaining.
Turn quickly here. More chances to strike true though. One more at least for M80. Can they get the job done in the final opportunity to B play? Oh, looking possible. Armania doesn't get the access he was hoping for. Smoke blooms. No need to rush that decision here. There's so much time left on the clock. Need to bank it all on a B play here. Not they're interested in right now.
Love that nade off the box, off of Xbox there at mid. It's a little bit of a lineup, but both these teams have it down. 57 seconds remain. Wildcard hoping they can have another explosive entrance in towards the A site. Oh, the re-smoke now. That's going to force them to wait a little bit longer, perhaps. If they do have the flashbangs, they could just try to send this. It's only Sin here. So if the flash is good and the bodies flood out, should be a quick trade. 35 seconds remain now. Eventually going to have to get a move on Sin. Oh, turning his back at the wrong time during a flashbang. They don't push up. Sin lucky that he has a chance to turn back around, and he gets two. Slacks with one. Hex managed to find a response, but it is a 4v2 for M80, who are looking to seal the deal here on Dust 2 right here, right now. 60 catches. Slacks looking the wrong way. That will be some space gained up. Hex trying to slip over from long, and now 60 gets Link as well. Hex finds Swisher. You've got to be kidding me. There's no way this is down to a 1v1.
Oh my god.
Oh, JBA trying to get away. 28 points of health remain, and M80 wins the round off of time. Oh my goodness, what a finish to overtime here, Cole. But it is M80 who take it.
Dude, out in the most dramatic of fashions right there for Wildcard. Just not enough time on the clock. Trying to heroically send that bomb over. 60 almost provides enough coverage. Hex wins a difficult duel towards CT, but you can't beat the clock right there, and that is what ends up costing Wildcard in the end. That is a really tough map there. They give themselves some runway on OT. They give themselves a little bit of belief there, even in that 4v2. Just coming down to the smallest of details. 25 HP. If one more bullet connects here, you are, playing another overtime. But instead now, you have to walk into Inferno down a map, which is a terrifying prospect here for Wildcard.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Like we highlighted before, it hasn't been a great map for them. M80, on the other hand, really like to play Inferno. 9-3 over the last 3 months. It's fantastic for them. But before we talk about the next map, we're going to throw it over to Evan Toon to break down map number 1.
Well, ladies and gents, we definitely saw a very interesting and fun match. Let me tell you about that, because one of the things that I actually managed to notice was that, unfortunately, Wildcard was really just depending a little bit, extremely, honestly, from MHL's AWP. I feel like as soon as M80 was actually just able to start getting those frags against him, everything started falling into pieces for Wildcard. I mean, they were not really able to fight back at all. And, I mean, the perfect example for that, and I do want to give a shout out for both AWPs, of course. His Lax was also doing a wonderful job. Is that on round number 9, for example, we had an incredible display of skill coming in from MHL. Actually, also from the beginning, we saw a couple missed shots from in this case from the Wildcard team as well. So I do have to say, MHL was doing an amazing job, and he was actually racking up an incredible amount of kills throughout the whole game. He was actually top fragging from the whole server. And we also see that in round number 11, for example, MHL had a great opening pick on this round, getting the first bloods. He was also really good at that. But then, of course, Slax was also right there with his own AWP, doing a little bit of the same. So it was just like a little bit of a constant back and forth. Wildcard definitely had the advantage, as we can see right now on this 9-5. But after this, they got the 10th point. And I feel like that is the moment in which things started to get a little bit messy for Wildcard. I mean, a little bit of mistakes, as we saw. Something was just not really clicking for them. I feel like M80 just absolutely decided to wake up and they said, you know what, this is our chance. We have to make it happen, or we're not going to have the opportunity. So they just start going in round after round after round. They allow Wildcard to actually get the 12th point. They get really close to the match point right there. but M80 was just not having it. They went into round number 24 on the 11-12 that we have right here. And also that one, I bet that a lot of people actually felt a heart attack on that last 2v2 situation we had. So then we just jumped into the overtime, which was really close, also looking like we could have gone into a second overtime, but of course that doesn't happen. M80 got an incredible T-side on the OT, and after that, well, the rest is history. I mean, Wildcard wasn't really just able to deliver in the end, and it was just one round away, which M80 absolutely took for themselves, and just like that, we had the win. Ladies and gents, once again, I do have to say also, I feel like Reg, for example, was getting a little bit too far behind with the kills, also with his teammate. They were really far low on the scoreboard, really behind. And I feel I identified that it was exactly the problem. Like, Wildcard was really struggling a little bit with 2 players. They were a little bit too heavy for, in this case, MHL to actually carry them. Even with the great amount of kills he actually managed to get for his team. But, well, after that, there is nothing else that I can say. I mean, all I can do is just go ahead and tell you guys that we are going to still have another game in which we are going to jump into a lot of more action, because this time it's going to be none other than Inferno. And as M80 actually claimed, the enemy's pick this time, it is going to be their element, their territory, and they are absolutely bound to give us a show, because they also have quite a very good performance on Inferno themselves. But, well, ladies and gents, thank you very much for being right here with us. Let's just go ahead and jump into a little bit of a break, and we are going to be right back as soon as everything is ready for you and the players, because we still need to find out who will have a better chance at coming out on top in the end. Right. Well, ladies and gents, right now we are just about to jump into what is going to happen on the next one. Next turn GRT, I feel like the previous map was actually quite a rush and quite a roller coaster of emotions. I feel like I at least thought that Wildcard was actually going to be claiming their map, but unfortunately they just weren't able to. But right now, I think that the story is going to be completely different. We are jumping into Inferno, and we were also talking about how M80 does have a pretty good record and a lot of experience on that map. So right now we are going to be jumping into the map, and let's see how it goes just as we jump into the battlefield.
Thank you, Evan Toon. All right, let's get into the action here on Inferno. Just try and continue that conversation. Yeah, I mean, it was a really tough loss for Wildcard on Dust 2. Not as tough as the Overpass loss earlier in Data but this one, a match that they probably could have closed out. And then it gets even more heartbreaking, right, Cole, as you get into that last round of the first overtime and they just miss pushing it to double OT. It just feels like it's not Wildcard's day today.
I mean, some of the rounds definitely evidence of that, with how hard M80 were hitting in certain scenarios, with how difficult some of those duels were, and it just still wasn't coming up your way. And once again, things are just going to fall a little bit short of the goalpost when you hit 12. Things might not start off any easier here on Inferno. Great collapse from Hex to make something happen on this play on a... And that's his only pathway into, I would say, any, conversation of success in this round. Is his fight through apartments. Because now you're able to buy time here for the rest of your team to get involved, and you find a second pick to give your team the advantage here. As the only player on A available after he loses his teammate, that is already above and beyond the Call of Duty. Now you set up for a good opportunity in the retake here, but the crossfires gluing together. It's all on JBA's shoulders. Doing damage here, packing a punch with the Glock here up close and personal. Nemanja able to seal the deal. Wreck with time on the defuse, and Wildcard with the help from Hex going to close out another victory on the pistols, and that makes 3 for 3.
Yeah, they're getting pistols. They're getting conversions. I mean, 6 of the 12 rounds in regulation for Wildcard were off of the pistol round victories. So, yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is it hasn't helped them win a map. It didn't help them win the first map anyway. We'll see if that changes here on Inferno. Talking more about that first map of Dust 2, the heroes for M80, Slacks and Sin, 23 and 20 frags respectively, 1.39 rating for Slacks and 1.20 for Sin. So the Germans popping off for the squad. On the other side, Wildcard had an incredible performance. I think Evan Toon highlighted this as well. MHL was trying to do everything. 26 frags on the board, 1.28 rating. Hexed above him in rating at 1.29, but below in frags at 20. Still, despite all that effort, despite all the hard work, it was in vain, as Wildcard are unable to close. And I feel like you're going to get less from MHL here, as it's Inferno and the op isn't as potent by far compared to Dust 2.
Yeah, no question about that here. I mean, hoping that maybe this first half can do him some favors at the very least.
Maybe.
And that's where you can build up some confidence here. If you can build up a healthy enough lead, still have the impact that you're hoping for on this map. Let the rest of the team take over. Definitely a missed opportunity to be built on last map here, and we'll see if they can get back on track here. Nice opening pick from Nemanja. Ready to have a little bit more effort here, but the trades are back and forth, and Sin and Slacks, those two Germans that you just highlighted, able to deliver the trades on their teammates down relatively low here. You got a fast flank rolling out. Maybe can provide some hope, maybe, but Slacks deals with it again, and that leaves no other option but for Hex to back away, shrug his shoulders, and call it. As M80 do not need the pistols here with how good they look. In the next breath there, forced by pans out big time.
And I mean, the crazier thing is that, well, not the crazier thing, but the more impressive thing for M80 is that this time around, they don't allow Wildcard to get that conversion. So it's tied up at 1. the reliance that Wildcard had on pistol rounds, we already talked about it. It was a lot of their rounds in Dust 2. They won't be able to lean on that this time. Hexton will at least survive with the FAMAS. And I imagine that it's going to be a force buy afterwards around the FAMAS for Wildcard to try and bounce back immediately. But if they don't, it's likely a 3-1 M80 lead.
Could be here. At least a single rifle saved for Hex, but gotta bring in the pieces here around it. Maybe pots and pans. Round starts off great with that opening presence, but again, Slacks and Sin just feeling so much comfort here this matchup. Striking true. Nemanja, again, good for the first, but the trade is so swift. There's no chance to find your foothold. Trades are rattling off as quick as can be. Level of the playing field here now, 4v4. A lot of damage done on the Sin, though.
Yeah. And there's still an incendiary here in terms of utility that can do damage on the Wildcard side, but more of that on M80. 3 Molotovs to try and clear out the space here, as they are likely going to execute towards B. They don't have a lurk or anything in the other direction. And it's the stack site. Oh, 60. I don't know about this. Was he going to go through that smoke? Felt like he wanted to, but in the end, he backs off. 44 seconds left. Here comes that CT smoke. M80 likely just going to commit here. Where are the Molotovs? They should be coming in shortly. There they go. 60's forced out of position. He gets one. Traded out immediately. MHL holds the line with the scope. Gets another tag. 2 of them connected on. But now they have to get the bags, and he will absolutely do that. Hex and MHL holding the line here on the B site. 19 seconds left. Sin is trying to retreat, thinking he can go to A, but he cannot. Rex is going to close that up, and, well, actually he can, but he wasn't planning on that anyway. He just wants to save the gun. And Rek, despite dying, the work was done effectively by Hex and MHL on B site.
There's some of that impact that MHL is looking to provide here as much as possible on the CT side, claiming some great kills on the site proper. Really everyone doing their roles, but positionally thriving as well. Having the right rotates where they need to be to seal that round in. I mean, in a 4v4 to have 3 players on B is a bold call to make, but I think this is a team that needs to play with a few risks at this point. That's going to pay off big time. Confident exchange. A little too confident for MHL, and Rek going to feel the same pain. At least able to walk away with his life. Another fight towards Banana working in the favor of the T side, but that's just going to lead to a 1-for-1. So I should try to back away into no avail. Either way, man advantage to work off of here for M80, and a whole lot of time on the clock as well.
Hex going to toss the incendiary down. JBA dodges it. Doesn't take any damage. So they won't get the information that this space has been taken at bracket, but now they're making a ton of noise. So, Wildcard, no. The question is, can they do anything about it? The answer to that is absolutely not. Rek gets one, but they are wiped off the board outside of that frag. And the force buy wars continue.
Easy does it. Be able to back things up with another conversion. This time a little bit more lethal in the buying power, but also even more success. They have no troubles sealing that one up. There's MHL able to find the first here. There's a run down middle, and Wildcard coming through with an unrelenting pace right now. They're trying to keep the pressure applied onto M80. Make sure they can't set up their default, but will they be forced into some restraint? That lesson going to be learned here and now as MHL goes down early. I mean, maybe they don't have to learn any lessons if they continue to call these Rotates right. This is another great setup towards the A side in the 4v4.
I thought M80, having thrown those Molotovs would have gone B because there was no audio cues, but Rex gonna swing around. He gets one. Swisher trades him out. There's still Nemanja, and Nemanja will get chased down by JBA's Mac 10. Hexed, 5-7 in hand, good angle, held, but won't get anything at all. What a swing from JBA and 60. He's looking for guns, but there's nothing available for him. Oh, excuse me, there is. There's an A1S down on the ground that he will grab and save for the next round. M80 win a third.
Bit of relief here. As maybe this will put an end to the Force by Wars after long last.
Yeah, I think so.
Traded out those rounds back and forth here throughout this one, but have to keep that conversation rolling on the Force buys here over and over again. Very well might just do the trick.
Terrorists win.
Rather clean conversion. One rifle saved. Nemanja going in for a Mag 7. They're going to give themselves some tools here, but yeah, that works out. So the Mag 7 on Banana can be interesting at all times. Is this a risk that's worth it here at this point? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a lot of money. Should you connect on those kills. Nemanja playing at the half wall here. Typical spot for the Mag 7. In the meantime, players on A do not have anything but pistols. Stacking it up towards B. So Hexed, what can you do this time? Anything more than the previous? We'll see. He's going to be tested. M80 heading in this direction. MHL, pretty solid with that P2K, but he's the last one left standing towards the site itself. And actually 2 swings come through, and there's another frag from MHL from the P2000. Lake waiting on the other side for any rotations to come through here at bracket. I would imagine there's nothing to lose for these wildcard players. They're probably going to swing, and yeah, they do. To their deaths, of course, at least one of them. MHL still standing. And he is going to fade off and look for exits instead. This will be a 4th for M80.
All they can say here is now they're on the hunt for what little resources Wildcard have left. Nemanja going to be able to save his mag, and 60 hoping to save his A1. That would be the much more valuable prize. He hears the flashbang around the corner there and deals with Swisher. Absolutely blows that idea up. Okay, he just does some chip damage on the lake before the round is all set in stone. Nonetheless, M80 going to be hopping into the next gun round here with a whole lot of tools, and this is, I mean, definitely swinging heavily in favor of M80. I think for those live odds there, as you can see at the top of your screen, you're seeing the swing from M80 taking control on Dust 2 now. They're starting off this series a little bit rocky. A lot more confidence placed in them.
They're such a patient team, too. Like, you saw it on Dust 2, save after save, not pushing into anything, knowing how important it is to keep that CT economy healthy. Even if the rounds weren't going their way, they eventually ended up doing so. Lakes can get an opener, by the way, as you guys saw. On to Nemanja. That's through the smoke, and I think the smoke is broken open to expose Nemanja. So a 5v4 quickly for M80 and full banana control. Util is not really available here for Wildcard. They are going to toss a little bit back in, but M80 have the advantage, both in terms of map and manpower.
You're wrong, hindsight 2020 there, but jumping mag 7. In this case, for the worst, their hands over an opening duel for Lake with ease. Nemanja got to be feeling frustrating after a day like today. Trying to make anything work here. This B site engulfed in flames, but Rek manages to walk in between it. And towards the back of the site as well, but nothing out of Rek's rifle. It's all on the shoulders of 16. He tries to line up a big spray down, but ends up splitting the goalpost. MHL smoke spam of his own. He takes a lot more damage than he sends. And he ends up getting finished off there by Swisher. M80. We're going to take another round on this T side here. Make it a 5th. This Hex is just left to save here. Familiar feeling for him.
Lots of money for Sin, 9.5k. So you'd imagine he might be a little more interested in the hunt here to try and rip this gun out of Hex's hands. As it stands, I'm not sure they're going to get to him. Tucked in towards T-spawn, excuse me. And it will be M80 winning their 5th fairly convincingly. Now we're going to get a timeout called. Tactical pause called by Wildcard to talk things over heading into this next round. Hex saving the M4 should be able to justify a buy-up. Yeah, I mean, they were waiting for this, so there you go. It's going to be maybe a little limited, but they should have some pretty heavy-hitting pieces.
Bringing in a bit of firepower here. Say that, I mean, MHL able to bring in an op, but MP9s. Seen some of the struggles taking place over there towards the B side in terms of being able to hold with lesser weaponry. Be another problem in that direction. Where the play heads over towards B early. A little extra help here, at least from the rotates. Try and toss him some utility, but Nemanja instantly dismissed. Lake gets him again and swings for the fences for another opportunity. Zixi definitely put on notice. D-play looking more and more convinced as they're past the mollies, they're past the flames. Lake looking to hunt down the follow-up frag. He's playing ahead of the smokes here. No way he makes this move. And towards Coffins, he finds 60, flushes him out of the corner here, and there's nothing Rek can say other than a single. Round over in a flash. M80 stampede their way in towards the B site. And Lake, the tip of the spear, showing some of that star power here.
Oh man, they're just too good once they hit their stride. And Lake has consistently been a player throughout M80's last year, I would say, that can come through and deliver in those situations and have that star power influence on a map. And even a series, of course. This is going to be Hex again. Saving. Trying to keep the AK up. MHL with the AWP. And M80, well, they won't find these two. So the guns will be saved, but the rounds are starting to pile up fairly quickly in favor of M80. And convincingly as well. I think that's the biggest concern. And just a reminder, folks, you can go to hotspawn.com to check out all of the latest news for Thunderpick World Championship 2026. That's hotspawn.com as we head into this next round of action. Wildcard, it's a half buy. Around the save guns, Cole, but it's, like I said before, it's not looking pretty.
It's not. Scrappy weaponry here, not allowing them to fight for any control, and as you said, some of the star power here really coming into play right now for M80. We look to try and close this job on out. Great utility, avoiding MHL off the server, taking him out of the server. In fact, I thought maybe the molly was just going to keep him from trying to open up proceedings. The HEs end up finishing the job and a repeat from Nemanja. He finally gets a little bit of better weaponry than a Mag 7 or an MP9 and finds the kill, but goes re-peeking in and right into the open arms. Flax's AWP here, 60 sidelined as well, and another done deal. JBA's in pit. That's not fun to deal with. You're just trying to save your guns, and you've got to worry about full sights. Oh my god! How? How?
Hext is absolutely kicking himself right now. JVA turns on him on a dime and gets the headshot. Wreck will be finished off as well. 7-2 for M80. That was technically just a half buy around the saved guns, so not a huge investment for Wildcard, but man, even when the opportunities present themselves for something more meaningful to happen, it does not. Time I'm going to be called here, technical in nature.
I'm gonna have to check JVA's PC.
Yeah,
I think.
maybe it has to do with what we're seeing on our screens here, Cole. A bit of pixelation. Not sure if you guys are seeing that as well. But yeah, check JBA's PC. I mean,
that's
crazy.
it feels like more of what we saw as well on some of the rounds on Dust 2, where like I don't know, you got a very favorable duel ahead of you, and you're in the right position. You catch the opponent off guard, just get outgunned, and it's non-stop. There's very little time to breathe. These rounds continue to fly by. See if they can buck the trend here. Get themselves back on target. Switching up the end goal here for M80. Play towards the A side. Great flash to open up some space here. Trying to fly in towards this A side. MHL.
Oh, God.
I mean, they're shuffling utility on A right now instead of preparing the defense that's right around the corner. MHL still able to connect some shots here. Finding some success with that op here. Big multi from MHL. I wasn't sure if they were going to be at the ready. But MHL, even despite shuffling around, they're able to close out the all-important kills. And Slacks is going to have to slink away here. Save onto this AWP if possible. Finally, a statement being made from MHL. We know this is the half that he's going to look forward to the most and trying to make the most of it.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, that was the first time really he woke up with that AWP, and I was of the same mind as you. I thought that Wildcard... Oh, no Slacks. The quick scope onto Nemanja. Okay, sure. A little bit of PM as well. Eventually, he will fall.
Give it back to him. Give it back to him, MHL.
Literally, yeah, come on. Oh, he doesn't. I mean, for real, literally just picked up the A1S to BM and then grabbed the op again. MHL, a very solid round. Anyway, like I was saying before that craziness happened, I felt like Wildcard were going to get overloaded. M80 were swarming, the util was out, and you know, Wildcard, like you said, were kind of juggling that utility on their side as well, and didn't feel like they had a firm grasp on that site. But great shots from MHL, and he's going to be trying to swing around this time a little more aggressively in towards mid. Is it being held by Slacks is the question. I don't think so. He's more focused towards Banana right now. And you've got a lot of presence on A for Wildcards. 3 players in bracket, 1 on the site, and only 1 player at B. That is Nemanja trying to make as much noise as possible. Look at the pile of utility he has by his side. He's going to keep on tossing that out.
The Arsenal at the ready. Trying his best to keep the play from heading in towards that B side, puff up his chest and make it feel like he's a lot more than just a single player at the ready. Some of this A utility probably going to further convince him on the gamble. Dixie trying to get some information, and what he does gather is that there's just presence around. There's no full information here. But just as the CT side starts to get those rotates down range and you start to shuffle things up in what you think is going to be the right direction, the bomb is heading towards apartments. There's going to be a B fake in order. Wisher finds the first.
That's
How
so
does he get
good.
A second? Of course he does. Managed to make the impossible happen here. Rex still holding the line, and Hex at the ready, tucked in the corner. It had to be a late headshot, and it just was. 12 seconds for the bomb plant. If he found that kill, bomb would have tumbled onto the A bomb site, and there would have been very little time to operate with here. Now MHL, Thunder stomping his way up middle, and Slacks gonna hear the footsteps and send him packing here. Another victory, and Slacks again rubbing it in.
Slacks having a little bit too much fun. Look, that's another great round by M80. The fact that Swisher gets 2 there is unreasonable. And if I'm M80, I might wait a little bit longer before acting towards the apartments. I know time was low, but Wildcard may have been a little bit more desperate to send rotations over, especially considering there was still another M80 player towards that B site. Anyway, it all worked out for M80 in the end. Still very well played.
Isn't that the problem here for Wildcard? Is that I think, you know, in a certain sense, some of the decision here that just could be left to difficult scenarios here, but they're still holding the line. This is a much better look from Wildcard. Able to find a couple of frags, but a couple answered back. Fast flank coming through for the duo, and there's a connection from Slacks. He does get traded instantly. No chance for the multi. Retake. Gonna try and come through early before they can get those numbers punched in. 60 doing just that. Clothesline headshot for JBA. Can't react to wreck. Surfacing through the smoke. And Wildcard are able to breathe a big sigh of relief that they at least claimed that round. That was a 5v2 turned 1v1, but, or 5v3 rather, turned 1v1, but they get themselves another to try and break the hot streak that M80 were on.
At least it's something, and that is M80's better side here. So, you know, they technically hit the mark that they usually do, but Wildcard prevented from getting worse. 61.9% T run win percentage here for M80 on Inferno, and a 50.5% CT run win percentage, which is still very good. And if they do live up to that metric, they will come out with a win here. Let's see how the pistol round goes. So far, Wildcard, flawless on pistols. That is a big reason why they've been able to build up rounds in the previous map. Here, they only got 1, and they were immediately erased afterwards. We'll see what they decide to do in this one. It looks like they just want to send it A. And let's see if the frags rattle on forward. There's Hex getting 2. JB and Slacks got pneumonia, drops in. It will be Wildcard remaining flawless on pistols unless Swisher and Lake can get back into this site. And Lake does have 3 pieces of utility, but it's also going to take a heroic effort from one of these two because all 5 players for Wildcard are still up and relatively healthy.
You're going to find the first. But it's just going to be...
They're not even going for it.
Yeah, contained game here. Save a belt of utility and dualies and armor to try and maybe bolster up a force buy in the next. That's about all they can bring. And there goes 4 for 4 on the pistols. Didn't cause too much concern on this map so far for that force buy that got launched for M80, but and the consistency is something to note for Wildcard here, and that's going to have to be a tool that they live on. They can build off that on this T side. You got to make sure to capitalize on it, though, this time around here. There's a shot, again, at redemption here for this team on this map of Inferno. So they're able to bring it through here. Of course, though, with a little bit of saving firepower, Swisher gonna upgrade from the dualies onto the FAMAS here for himself. And that armor that's saved over as well. And a fight with Banana here. Lake spotting out a lot of resistance here. Eating AGs though, down to 5 HP. Not a chance in the world that he can get much else going. And the lack of head Kevlar costs. Swisher with an instant double down from 60. There's a great sequence here. Using utility to back up the aggressive stance from 60. He continues to succeed on some of these opening exchanges.
I just want to also highlight how crazy it is that Wildcard are winning the pistols here, as their pistol round win percentage coming into this was 38.9%, and M80's was 70.8%.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they won both pistols. I mean, it went against every metric that we have at our disposal.
Yeah, I mean, That is some pretty like bleak stats here. The fact that they've got both of them, and so without too much cause for concern here. I mean, both of those pistols feeling pretty dominant in their favor. Impressive enough, but to not complicate the matters here. I saw them starting to walk up brackets, and I was a little concerned that they'd hand it over to the stack. Instead, they send a probe over towards B to identify any stacking presence there. They spot it out, fully cleared, and they'll bring the bomb over. Yeah, those pistol stats, they're maybe encouragement for Wildcard to figure out some more ideas on those rounds here. Maybe that's what they needed here. It's working out big time for them in this map.
Terrorists win.
All right, Sin and Slack's just going to save the armor and the pistols for this round. They won't have much of anything else, as M80 will be looking to buy up in the next. Still Wildcard have a very, I want to say, tall hill to climb, because while things do stay close, again, we can't forget that a lot of the success is coming off of pistol rounds. So M80 have been the better team when the guns have come out. Both on Dust 2 and here. Okay. Oh my goodness, even when the guns aren't out, Slack's just absolutely clotheslines Wreck. Drops him in a heap towards mid. No upgrade available, of course. But that is a ripper of a shot. And these Deagles could strike again. Slack's around the corner. Oop, doesn't get it that time. Gets tagged down to 63.
Did not pay the price of his life here in the mix there. Right around the truck. Doesn't actually do all that much, even though it sounded pretty bleak.
Yeah.
Rattled off a lot of damage there. There's a missed arch smoke right now for the E side. They're finding the kills here. Hex, MHL able to provide the coverage, and A side is at the moment opened up here. It's just Swisher as the resistance. They're going to set up and execute into an empty bomb site. Swisher goes swinging. Connects onto Nemanja. A little bit off guard. 3v3. Now a rifle is recovered. There's armor for Sin, but he's just got low HP, so not going to hand it over to him. There might be another gun down towards the bottom of mid from Slack, so we wanted to do even more damage here. Mac 10 going to punish the Halls play, though. Yeah. Hex is going to find himself an upgrade. Wildcard going to close the distance down to 1 here. Like I said, coming at the hands of the pistol rounds here, that they're able to find a lot of this success, but another big challenge coming up in the next round here is going to be the guns, and I'm sure that M80 are going to be eager to prove themselves on those rounds once again here. Exit found. Sin. German Eagles there doing some serious damage on the outro. And there's 2 AKs scooped up for free. Swisher and Sin going to be walking out of that round with a smile on their face.
That is fantastic. I mean, given the fact that they weren't really expecting much out of that round, aside from a couple of saved Eagles, and they get 2 AKs at the end of it, helps bolster your buy up in this next round. You pretty much get a full buy with all the utility you could hope for. Maybe Slack's a little lacking there with a couple of pieces missing, but yeah, not to mention the firepower upgrade is immense. One-shot headshot on defense is always a welcome thing here. Nades sail out. MHL lucky to be alive. Ooh, nice flashbang, and Lake finishes him off. 60 gone as well. The spam continues, and Lake is pulling it off again. The star power on full display with a 3K here at Banana. Wildcard are just shaking their heads, unable to do much of anything in response. Hex and Wreck, the last 2 standing. And while they have slipped into bracket, and there is a gap towards Arch side, Sin is watching it. Just a sliver here, but he'll be able to communicate with his A site defenders should he spot someone, and he will. Contained
here, Wreck. Provide a little bit of relief here. Slack's out in the open. be overexposed. The A-bomb site super vulnerable.
Ooh, big miss.
Stop shot. Spots out both players, but he misses again. Bomb could go down here. Pathway out of this round for Hex and Wreck. And towards the pit here. Oh my god. Unlike this, slipping out of the grasp of M80 could be exactly what Wildcard need. Gonna try and follow it up here through the lane side right now with the duo. Flashes go down range here. Hex unidentified in the back of the site here. All the ammo spammed out for Wreck. Both players seen, but their backs are handed over, and Hex gonna find all of the kills to close things down. A 2v5 converted. And M80 gotta be shocked that that one got out of control.
It really shouldn't have. That was ridiculous. I mean, there was that little gap at Arch side that we already talked about. Didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but it ends up being critical, right? Because Hex is able to slip through. He finds a couple. They go to the site, plant the bomb, and Hex plants himself in towards pit and does all of the remaining damage. What a transfer from the Galil. An incredible performance to help Wildcard tie things up. It's taken individual efforts a lot of the time for Wildcard to get rounds on the board in the gun rounds, but maybe this time it will be enough of a spark to get them going and find a lead here on Inferno, which M80 have dominated up to this point. 5v4 already as another opener rings true for Wildcard. 60 down to 33, but he's going to grab an op off the ground. Or excuse me, not grab op. MHL's going to hand it to him. And then Slacks will take care of Hex. Response found for M80. Exactly what they were hoping for against what was the most lethal player in that last round.
Has to watch from the sideline. He's able to bail him out, but also taking care of Lake, who been deadly as can be as well. This time the A site, I mean, a little bit more well staffed here. Catches a full flash. They're looking for a Halls pop here. The op is ready. Slacks fully trained in position, driving down into the mix. Slacks finds another pickup. Has to watch the flank though. Nemanja in cover. Smoke spam damage doing some decent work here, but it's all on Slacks' shoulders, and with the op, he's going to complete all 5 frags.
Whoa.
M80 get it right back and make good on the missed opportunity of that 2v5. This time, Slacks able to provide the shots, and especially after he missed those 2 kills on the angles in those 2v5s. It could have been done right there if Slacks was able to get a little bit more sharp, and he makes sure to make good on those missed opportunities in the last round, coming through that much stronger with the ace.
Every time it feels like Wildcard are on the precipice of making something happen in this series, there's an answer back from M80, and that is just an absolutely huge ace for Slacks to get. Jumps to the top of the scoreboard, which is where he was in the previous map as well. And now Wildcard, they're working with bits and pieces. I mean, Nemanja's got an AK, but it's just a hero AK. Everyone else is going to be on Glocks with some utility. They do actually upgrade a little bit further. A couple more upgraded pistols. As I say that, they sold the Tech 9. So it's just a Deagle and an AK with 6 pieces of utility. Nate's going to sail out. Lake looking for that spam. They gave him success previously, but he sticks around that Molotov a little too long. And you see Nemanja hoping to make that AK sing a little bit. Towards top banana. Swisher engaging. And they're just going to toss some util out and likely fade off around it. They don't want to get over aggressive. And Wildcard don't either. So they're also going to head back in towards mid and give up all of the banana control.
It's M80 that aren't really giving over that space here. They'll have an aggressive stance on that side of the map here. Standard hold here, 2-3 split. CT side. Well placed smoke trying to provide some relief here. Slacks holding an angle. Catches the Glock, sacrificing his life. MHL willing to make that play here so that his teammates can try and thrive in this environment. And Lake making no secret about his rotate. Here's the footsteps rattling off towards CT. Can't escape into safety. Nemanja's rifle able to roll out with here with the deadly blow. Wreck lurking about. It's a quick reaction shot. The JBA, but the B-bomb site vulnerable here. Swisher. Smoke spam tracking the target. And that's the bomb on the floor here for now. Panic stations in on the rotate as they let another one through on the banana flank here. And again, a chance at another 2v3. And again, Hex is still in the server. Nemanja calling the entirety of CT clear. So you know this is a one-way street here if you're Wildcard.
Okay, flashbang in. Hexed. Waiting over at Coffin. Nemanja spotted out. Still alive somehow with 9 points of health. Hex continues to survive here. Now Nemanja's gone. Hex tries to get something, but he gets absolutely nada. Swisher just ducking up and down, defusing that bomb, relies on his teammates, trusts them to take care of business, and they absolutely do. 10-8 for M80. 2-round lead restored. Here come the guns for Wildcard. 4 AKs and a Galil. But time and rounds are running out for them.
No room to breathe right there. Nice attempt in the 2v3. This time not going to be able to come up clutch. At least the bomb plant going to provide a little bit more firepower into this one. Especially on Nemanja, who was going in for that hero rifle in the last, trying to make do. T-side ready to strike already. Flash is going to be well placed. Forces JB off the post and out towards apartments. That's a triple entry instantly. Round over. And 80 going to be stunned here. That's a decisive call towards the A play. Instantly deliver and a wild card. Continue to push things forward.
Oof. Good on them to keep things alive. M80. Having to watch the time tick down. Slacks and Swisher hoping to walk away with these guns, and they probably will. I mean, the money's not great on Wildcard's side either, so they don't have any temptation to chase. And it will be a 1-round lead again. Wildcard continue to hang in there. Gripping on the edge of the cliff. Hoping that they won't slip off. M80 feel like the team that are calm, cool, collected, in control. Right here, they're going to buy up around the saved guns. An MP9 in the mix, but other than that, it's full util and full guns. 2 players heading towards A, but 3 at Banana. They want to try and gain this early control. Nade sails out. Util is on both ends, flying through the air. And Nemanja will eat a nade down to 15 HP. Still alive, but another one's been picked up by Leg. I wonder if he's going to toss it. Nemanja's moved back towards the bottom of Banana, though, so he's likely out of the range of any nades that get thrown. A couple of flashes will go in. Excuse me, a flash and a smoke. And this is just to try and deter Wildcard from taking any further space and walking into the more heavily manned site that is A right now. Smoke's going to go in, 1 for Library, 1 for Arch side, and then counter util going out for M80. So they're trying to bottle up Wildcard and prevent them from freewheeling here towards either site.
This time that early A play. Working out in strides. We're going to take a different approach here. A little bit slower on the uptick on A. What sort of counter utility are we dealing with left here? It's going to be limited. They're trying to work their way up lane. That's a quick strike. Nemanja down on low HP. Instantly gets dismissed. And now the crossfire going to be well situated to punish here. JBA, Slacks, and Sen all getting involved in the hole. And M80 tear through Wildcard.
That is unreasonable.
I mean, as I said before, with the player with the flash, so they didn't have the flash ping. It hit the floor and lane instead. Oh, Nemanja had the util to try and set up his teammates, and what could have been at least an opportunity for Wildcard, but that little peek through from Sin blows up the play.
Yep. Very good point. And I mean, look at Again, Wildcard, they get an important round victory, but they can't convert off of it. So they continue to be on the back foot. 134 on the clock. Now they've taken the space towards top banana. That is something. Wildcard kind of hanging on to their utility for now. They've got some nades they can dunk in here if they want to, but they're not going to. Instead, Wildcard shifting around. This is the right read. Much more lightly defended here on this A site. Still plenty of time for Wildcard to work with as well, as they will charge out. Missed op shot from Slacks that could expose him, but he does back off and toss a Molotov instead. That 60 and Nemanja is going to walk through. Now they're going to take care of JBA. Op shot goes through the smoke, so they know that Slacks has rotated to library. This is actually not good. M80 might just save.
Yeah, that was JBA left on an island on the A side, getting hunted down from all angles. I think Slack's trying to provide a little bit of assistance there, but the scaling utility was way too lethal. Now on the exit, the really only missing piece of the investment was that MP9, and immediately gets upgraded onto an AK right there with that frag. Not bad at all. Gotta be able to at least keep 4 guns up into the mix. Great strike landed on the A side once again. Good call out to hit that side of the map quickly. And M80 just don't have the resources to bring in a cohesive hold whatsoever. But here comes that point again that you were highlighting. It's the fact that every chance Wildcard have had to really put themselves in the driver's seat has been met with a round from M80 that has so much more force.
Will it happen again? That's the question. If it does, well, at least Wildcard will have a buy-up in the tank. Nemanja. Ooh, the nade lands at his feet. Again, feels like that's been happening a lot throughout this series for him. Imagine just seeing that smoke break open right at your feet and more damage being done. He actually saw the nade coming at him. Crazy. 60. Charging through. Wildcard could take the space bracket. M80's giving it to them. Playing very passively at Moto and Pit. But Wildcard don't want to do it. They want to bide their time and lean back in towards the B side a little bit. Couple of players going. This is very similar to the play that M80 made, I believe, at the second to last round of that first half of action. Where they sent Swisher in. He got 2 frags. And then they went for the execute towards the A site. This is likely going to be similar, if not identical. Yeah, nice nade again onto Nemanja. He's down to 19, and then he gets finished off by Swisher. Uh-oh. Slack's going to get hexed. 60. Finds the trade on back, but JBA from Pit will not allow them to advance further. 22 seconds left. Going to toss a flash out, and Sin supports as they're distracted by JBA. Only one remains. It is Rack. And let's see if he can deny M80 that 12th. He will not be able to. It's just way too hard. 1v4, not happening. JBA gets 2, and it will be M80 up 12-10.
2 opportunities to close this out. Another example right there of the difficulties here that are faced. M80 winning out the holds on both sides of the map. They try and throw a B fake, but that B site holds together so nicely that no one jumps on the rotate, and what's left is Wildcard have to make it out of apartments with no flashes. And you kind of see how that one went. They get stuck in the bottleneck. Looking to make a fast move here. They're going back to the well of these quicker A plays, and it's not a bad idea. Nemanja stretches out for one impressive pickup here, but through the flames, out in towards apartments. The defense getting situated here, and it's another brilliant sequence from Slacks. Ready to end things off. He will find another masterclass with the op there. Inferno put to rest at the hands of Slacks, who drops 24 and 10 and closes things down. That is incredibly impressive. And M80 going to be the grand final victors here, closing things down versus Wildcard for the NA Series 1.
Well, that was absolutely incredible. Honestly, I feel like there was a lot happening on this one. It was a little bit more balanced in a certain way, but I think it actually was only happening throughout the second half of the game. I feel like the first one was Wildcard just really sleeping off. And I do have to say, I gotta ask you guys, for example, because we did see Nemanja actually being the top fragger for the initial 6 rounds of the game. But I feel like that wasn't because he was really having a good performance, but because he was actually, I mean, it was because of the underperformance of his teammates. So what actually happened? I mean, why was it happening for Wildcard? I thought they were going to do a little bit better. Now, in this case, I do have to say, I mean, Nemanja was definitely just really catching me off guard, because especially when he whipped out the Max 7. But, well, after that, I mean, it was just a constant back and forth between the two teams. But I feel like the moment that I do have to put the spotlight on is the beautiful triple coming up from MHL. From Slacks, actually. I mean, he was doing an incredible job with an incredible display of skill. There was this one moment in which he actually just whipped everything around for M80, allowed the tiebreaker, and I feel like beyond the tiebreaker, that is the moment in which Wildcard just couldn't really recover at all. That was an incredible display of skill actually coming up from this guy, and he actually ended up with 24 kills in this case, so he was the one top fragment from the server.
Yeah, I mean, the point that you bring up right there with Slacks shutting things down was just a constant, brutal blow to the wild card, or the wild card T side that was trying to unleash. They had a little bit of ground towards that, and I think they had some confidence. The win was definitely in their sails when they had a couple of nice hits on that A bomb site, but that for the most part was when Slacks was either avoided off by the utility from Wildcard, or just on the other bomb site playing towards B, as the decision at the start of the round. But when Slacks was on the scene, when he was on that A site proper, it was impenetrable. Barring that 1-2v5 that we saw, it just constantly flipped the scripts in favor of M80. And again, you highlight Nemanja and maybe the quick launch that he was able to get started with. I think overall, M80 game planned so well around his playstyle, which is getting in the face, taking these confident duels, and when your opposition is willing to make those sort of plays there so consistently, it just led to a lot of good reads, and M80 punished that sort of play over the grand scheme of that first half, and definitely on Dust 2 as well.
Well, also, I feel like we all know Counter-Strike is a very psychological game, and I feel the moment that everything started breaking off for Wildcard, I mean, the moment they really saw the light at the end of the tunnel was the ace coming up from Slack with the up. That was just incredible.
Yeah, no, that was unbelievable stuff. I mean, in general, I felt like Slacks just outplayed MHL. Not that MHL had a bad game or series. He didn't. But it's just that Slacks was a star for this M80 squad with the AWP. Not to mention Lake was doing the same thing with the rifle. So you have your Opper performing incredibly, your star rifler doing what he has to. I mean, what more could you ask for from M80? And of course, Swisher and the rest of them, everyone looks good on M80 right now, and they're so cohesive. That's one thing that always impresses me, right? No matter what's going on, no matter the situation, even if it's back and forth rounds, they keep their heads amongst them. They don't go for foolish retakes. They're very conservative in terms of their opportunities to save. They don't want to take unnecessary risks, and that's admirable. And it's all that experience they've gained throughout international play before coming back to North America to compete here. That's benefited them there.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, I have to put the spotlight once again on MHL, just like you said. I mean, he was actually doing a pretty good job in a certain sense. Yeah. But once again, I actually reached the same conclusion. I feel like Wildcard just depends a little bit too much on their designated upper, in this case, MHL. And the last round of the first half is actually the proof to that. I mean, MHL lands his shots, he makes it happen for the team, but we actually reached, although he actually won that round, they reached the second half of the game with an 8-4 on the scoreboard. So it was definitely not going to be easy for Wildcard to actually put all that energy, get right back on track, get back in the game, and they still managed to get the tie. They still managed to get on the double digits, but unfortunately for them, well, there can only be one winner, and with the incredible performance from Slacks, he is the one claiming that for his team in this case.
Yeah, the MVP here of the matchup, and as you mentioned, playing incredibly well there with so many decisive moves up against this, his counterpart in MHL, where you see him sequence in that success. And, you talked about a lot of the disciplined decisions coming through there from M80. The fact that he almost always had an op on that CT side is a prime example of, the discipline that's instilled. And the big reason we didn't really see, after things were tied up 8-8, any rounds in a row for Wildcard. Op was always in play. Slacks was always able to make good on those moves. After maybe some missed opportunities, he would adjust his positioning. He was just forcing M80 across the finish line with some of his rounds. And again, big credit to, as John mentioned, the discipline there that comes through from M80.
Yeah, I honestly feel like there was just one moment after the end of the first half, and the second one, I absolutely thought that it was just going to be a breeze for, in this case, the city side for M80. I mean, from all the experience they had and from the performance based only on the first half, but of course it was actually absolutely different. I feel like Wildcard did give quite a fight. Honestly, they still managed to get that tie, like I mentioned, once again. So I feel like their performance wasn't as bad as I expected based on the first half of the game. I thought it was going to be a little bit easier, but I'm still happy about the performance they actually had, and I'm happy about the results we all saw at the end of the game, because Slacks will definitely just get that MVP, absolutely deserved. But also, well, what can I say? I mean, this just happens to be the end of this confrontation between these two great teams, and also it just happens to be the last opportunity for them to actually just be able to get that win. It was none other than the grand finals. It was already claimed by M80 on an incredible display of skill, team play, good nades, good shots, great shots specifically. I feel like everything was there on place, and that is the exact reason why they actually managed to call themselves champions.
Yeah, no, M80, fantastic work overall. I think that even if you look at the closer scorelines that came through in the overtimes, I said this before and I'll say it again, Wildcard were relying a lot on the pistol rounds that they won all of. Like, that's really crazy. M80 are actually quite solid on the pistol rounds on Inferno, like I already pointed out. So that's nuts in itself. But if you take away pistols, if you take away the conversions off of them, you have a Wildcard squad that didn't really have much behind it. They weren't as effective at all on their gun rounds. And I think that a lot of that comes down to the fact that they just added Sixy. He's finding his way into this squad, and you're dealing with the toughest team that you've had to play throughout Sixy's arrival on this squad. So it exposes your weaknesses, and I think it's a good thing for Wildcard to grow further.
Yeah, this is going to be the first big day that we see Wildcard tested in back-to-back losses in grand finals, where everything was going nice. You were getting into the flow state here. You brought in 60, and there was some real troubles up until today here, where you lose in these two key grand finals here. And as unfortunate as it is, it'll be a telling point whether or not Wildcard are able to bounce back. I do think they'll be fine in the long term, but definitely tough day at the office for them here, and gonna have to go back to the grindstone with a couple of key missed opportunities to play up against tougher competition, international competition in this case here as well. So yeah, definitely some things to work on here if you're Wildcards.
Well, I feel like one of the important things that we actually managed to see from both teams is just the adaptability, the capacity to actually just constantly adapt to what the enemy was doing throughout the game. Like, I feel like that is exactly why things were a little bit more balanced in this one. And also, I think it was definitely a change of pace from Dust 2. I liked how the Wildcards players just pretty much at the end, they were at least a little bit closer to each other's scores compared to the previous one. So everybody just started performing a little bit better. So they absolutely did get better as the game was going. But, well, like I said previously, there can only be one winner, and that just happened to be M80. Very, very well-deserved final win. And, well, ladies and gents, I feel like this is the moment in which we are going to have to say goodbye. But, of course, we are still going to have a lot more games and a lot more Counter-Strike in the future. So keep on tuning in, as we are always going to be right here with you, because this, of course, is Thunderpick, your tournament, the one that is right here helping us out and making this possible for every single one of us. So at the moment, is there anything you guys would like to add to this whole ordeal?
Just say thanks for tuning in. Here we got Definitely an interesting North American series, right? But I think we'll see a lot more action, as you said, over the grand scheme. We've got all sorts of regions going to be playing things out, South America and EU included. So in the future, make sure you all tune in. We'll be familiar faces there.
All right, excellent. Well, anything, Dre, that you would like to add up?
Nope, I think Cole summed it up really well. Thank you all for tuning in. I think, like he said, it's difficult because we had some forfeits come through, but we still got a great grand final.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely true, because you do miss a little bit of what could have been a lot more action, but that doesn't really change things a lot. Now, ladies and gents, we are just gonna have to say goodbye at this point, because we are done for the day, and we just reached the final score, the one winner that actually took it all in the end. So we are going to say once again goodbye. Thank you very much for tuning in once again, and we will be seeing you on the next one.